Ladies and gentlemen, what is this? Well, this is a 69 GTO that this customer bought from Barrett Jackson, and we're going to go over it and we're going to see if he got ripped off or not. Alrighty, first and foremost, I'm not telling you how much he spent. I'm not even giving you the lot number because it's none of your business. But this was bought at Barrett Jackson, and we're going to walk around it now. We're going to look over some stuff. I've already looked it over, but we're going to go into when and if and by how much he may or may not have gotten ripped off. So let's see, because that stuff happens at Barrett Jackson. So first, let's go over here to the description. So we've got a 1969 Pontiac GTO custom coupe. Blah, blah, blah. 5.7 LS engine, Tremec 5-speed, SFI Bellhausen, Hotchkiss suspension components, Edelbrock trailing arms, Flowmaster exhaust, four-wheel disc brakes, power steering, what the exterior colors, interior colors, custom set of autometer gauges, power windows tilt, custom bronze valve covers, yada yada, 18 and 20-inch staggered wheels. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you it's a little dirty because it got off the transport yesterday and did not get cleaned yet. But it is a clean paint job, and the body looks to be very straight. Interior as well is great looking. Door cards are beautiful. Dash is great, no cracks. The rear deck looks mint. Rugs appear to be new. E-brake cables are in the back and not installed, so it has no e-brake right now. Also, let me open this. We have a box of parts here for the air conditioning stuff, and we'll show you why in a minute. Also, they gave you highlights that you carry up on stage with you. It's basically carbon copy of everything that's on that window sticker. So, initial impressions. Starts right up, totally fine. Sounds good. Has a cam. No mention of cam on that description anywhere. Here, that one, anywhere. We'll get into why that may or may not be important in a minute. Right off the bat, the e-brake cables, not a big deal. We can get those put in. This is a brand new rear disc conversion, so we'll have to go through it. I can see the bracket in there for the e-brake cables, so maybe they just didn't run them. Maybe they have the wrong brackets. We'll figure it out. Yes, that was my phone, and I'm ignoring it. Lights. I have no lights in the interior except for the under-dash dome lights. I have no lights in the outside. I have directionals and I have brake lights. That's it. No headlights, no parking lights, none of that stuff. Whatever. It's me. I'm the electrical guy. I can take care of that. So as usual, I started snooping around, and I'm not a huge Gen 3 LS guy. I would much rather have a Gen 4 and an E38, E67 computer, whatever. But I started looking around, and that is a newer style drive-by-wire pedal assembly. I thought, that's weird. And I started looking at the gauges, and these are factory gauges, has speedo, tach, nothing else. This is the stripped-down version, so I was like, where are our custom autometer gauges? Oh, they're right there. And the best part is, the easiest one to hook up, oil and water do work. Easiest one to hook up is your voltage gauge, and they didn't. We also have a manual switch here for the cooling fans, which I was hoping it doesn't have a cooling issue, but it doesn't seem to. We're going to get into that in a minute, what style fans and whatnot this has on it. So I decided, let's pop the engine, or pop the bonnet, or the hood, if you're from the cool side of the pond. And I did. And I immediately saw this, which is a 4-bolt Gen 4 throttle body, also LS3 style. So I was like, well, that's weird. And granted, they make X-Link wiring harnesses and whatnot to make that work. This has a harness in it, aftermarket. I believe this is a PSI harness, but I started looking at everything and I was like, okay. Came around to the heads. Those are 821 heads. Now, if you know anything, 821 heads are Recport big valve. They require a 4-inch bore to fit, so 6 liter or bigger. They are not going to fit on a 5.7. So, between that pedal, that throttle body, I had a feeling we're dealing with a Gen 4 6.2 here. So I popped my head underneath the front under here to the front of the block on that side, and lo and behold, there is a 6.2 stamp on there. So far, massively did not get screwed because for me, a Gen 4 6.2, this is an LS3, is far superior to a Gen 3 LS1. So, that's a plus right there. Now, this is extremely messy. Driving me nuts. Got to take care of all this stuff. AC is not hooked up. There is no AC compressor anywhere on this car. Another thing I did notice when I did my initial check was the heater controls, blower fan does work. Nothing else works. There is no hot, no cold. I even opened up, they have a manual shutoff valve over here. Opened it up, still have no heat inside. So, might be something going on with that heater core, or there's another shutoff valve somewhere or something. Who knows? Doesn't matter. He's already said he wants to do vintage air. And I talked to him today. We're going to be doing a Holley front runner. So instead of adding a compressor on this side with whatever brackets, we're just going to do a complete Holley mid-mount system. It'll neaten up this entire thing, especially this alternator hanging way off to the side here. At the same time, I'll neaten up this entire harness. And since we are getting rid of that stock air box and the vintage air puts a flat plate there, I will probably move my fuse block and the E67 computer that is under there inside the car. Let's see, what else was there? Oh, so as I had my head underneath here, I did find a brass compression fitting on the pipe on the high pressure side of the power steering. Yeah, no, that's a no-go. So thankfully, the entire power steering line system, the lines will be redone with the Holley mid-mount on it. Other than that, it seems like a decent car. I have not taken it for a long ride yet, only because of that power steering fitting, and it is disgusting out right now. The snow was just starting to melt, and now it's raining and supposed to start snowing again. But I did let it warm up all the way outside when it wasn't raining yesterday, and came right up to 180, sat at 180. The fans, thankfully, are hooked up through the stock ECU, so kick the fans on. Never went over 180, although it is 40. It was 40 yesterday, I think. So if we get up to a nice 80-degree day, might need a little bit. We're going to redo the fans anyways. These look like stock truck fans that they have cut and massaged to make work in. They clearanced it all around here. They clearanced it all around this intake tube, which I'm not a fan. The intake tube is sitting here sucking in hot air from the radiator. Custom valve covers. So these are plastic, and they're made to look like they're aluminum. They have fake welds in them. They fit like crap. They're sitting on top of the coil wires. This one is actually hitting back right there, so those will be getting gone, and we'll just make this look really nice. Stock manifolds, which is fine. Still a mechanical clutch, and the stock manifolds allow the Z-bar to fit in there, so that's fine. We're going to keep that. Clutch linkage does need to be adjusted. I have, say, about 1.5 inches of play up top before I start getting resistance on the clutch fork, so common. Not a lot of people know how to adjust those correctly. I'll take care of that. But same time, we'll put a good fan system on it. We'll get rid of this fan shroud and make a bracket to actually hold the radiator, so it's nice. Same as we're doing in the GTO. But yeah, so we've talked about suspension. As you can see, it's kind of monster truck stance in the front. That's partly because of 18 and 20 inch, so the 20s fill the wheel well a little bit better. But we've already talked about ride tech, stuff like that. But I mean, all in all, it's going to be a decent little car. And it's got a great base. Like I said, the body and the interior is beautiful. It's just all the small things and then a bunch of other small things that need to be taken care of. Like I said, fires right up. Dropped my microphone. It's got a decent little lope to it. I'll probably tune it to not be as fake sounding as it is. This is just high RPM with stock over/under spark tables, so we'll take care of that. So, did he get screwed? Absolutely not. As far as I'm concerned, he made out with this not being a 5.7 and being a 6.2 Gen 4. I also think that not a lot of people knew that, which is why it went for the price it did, because otherwise I would see this going for about $10,000 to $15,000 more than what he actually got it for, because I think people assumed without looking or just didn't know that it was a Gen 3 5.7. Back to the description and what I think happened with this. So reading this description and then rereading it after going through and seeing everything that I saw, especially the engine. That's basic, like, know what engine you have. The fact that there's no mention of a camshaft in here, no model, brand, company, anything. So, anybody who builds something and cams it, you usually know what kind of a camshaft you have, because it's good just for bragging rights. It's good just to be able to tell potential buyers. Everything that is mentioned on that is something you can visually see. So, my sinking suspicion, and what I think is 100% correct, is somebody bought this car from another person to flip it, and that description reflects that, because everything on there, as I said, is just something you can visually see. They have no idea about engine internals. They didn't even know what engine they had. Kind of huge. Yes, I will be getting rid of this house wire nut and making this all correct. That is setting my OCD off as I'm sitting here staring at the engine right now. But yeah, so, I mean, and that's the stuff that can happen at Barrett Jackson. So you have to know what you're looking at. You need to have some kind of knowledge. You need to have somebody with you that has some kind of knowledge. Because Barrett Jackson is usually, it was surprising, it's usually they are very good at checking vehicles and making sure they are what they're supposed to be. When we brought the gray step side in, they went over that. Might also be because we were valued at $150,000 and this was not. But they went over that with a fine-tooth comb, and we knew 100%, had all the numbers off the block and everything, that was a built or an LS6 with a cam in it and a Tremec T56 Magnum. They were having problems finding the numbers on the block, so they were up in the air and guessing and really giving us shit on it. But finally, we are a known builder to them. We have two world record sales with them. We're pretty established with them, so they take our word for it that it is what it is, because we wouldn't want to tarnish our reputation. But something like this, I am amazed that it was listed as a 5.7 and it snuck through with a 6.2 LS3 in it. Because usually it's the other way around. Guys they have caught guys doing this, where they'll list it, 6.2 LS3, whatever. Turns out it's just a 4.8 or a 5.3 because they pulled the numbers right off of the block. They get, especially these, you just go down and look where I looked where the 6.2 is, and that's all you got to know. It'll say 4.8/53 for that. And people have tried to do that. They try to pull the wool over. This time, they pulled the wool over their own eyes, because if they knew what they had and they wrote this up, listed it correctly, they definitely could have got more money for it. But stay tuned, because we're going to be doing a good amount of work to this thing and bringing it up to our specs and the customer specs, because he wants to drive the balls off of this thing and have some fun. And just so happens we know how to do that. So I'll talk to you guys later.